There have been three major Arab-Israeli wars. The first one was in 1948, the second one was in 1967, and the third one was in 1973. All three wars resulted in more land being taken by the State of Israel. Here's why. The wars were fought over land, refugees, and borders. But why? Why did the Arabs want these specific things? Well, during the 1940s, there was a lot of fighting between the Jews who had been living in Palestine for a few thousand years and the Arabs, who had been living there for just as long. Both groups wanted their own state in the same piece of land. The Jews had a bigger claim because they had lived there longer and had a stronger connection to the land based on religion. But the Arabs had more people on their side. Most of the Arabs living in Palestine were Muslims, while most of the Jews were either Jewish or Christian. So the Muslims felt that it was their land and that the Christians had no right to take it away from them. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a plan to divide the land into two states, one Jewish and one Arab, but neither side accepted the plan. The Arabs thought that it would be better to have one state with both Jews and Arabs living together as equals. But the Jews didn't want that. They wanted their own state, where they could live according to their own laws and customs. So in 1948, the fighting broke out again, and this time it became a full-blown war. The war lasted until 1949 and resulted in the creation of the State of Israel. But this was not what the Arabs had hoped for. It hoped to create a state that would include all of Palestine, not just part of it. So they kept fighting. In 1967, they fought another war, but this time they lost even more land. Israel occupied East Jerusalem, which contains the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock, two of the holiest sites in Islam. They also occupied the West Bank, which includes the city of Jerusalem, Gaza. This war lasted only 6 days, hence the name Six-Day War. After the war, Israel still did not control all of Palestine. The West Bank and Gaza were still occupied by Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. So in 1973, there was another war. This war was fought over the West Bank and Gaza, but once again, Israel won and took more land. But why did Israel win all three wars? Well, the Arabs were not very good at working together. They kept fighting each other even when they were supposed to be allies. For example, in the 1967 war, Egypt and Syria were on the same side as the Palestinians, but they couldn't agree on how to fight. Also, Israel had a lot of support from the United States. The U.S. gave them money, weapons, and intelligence that helped them win the wars. After the 1973 war, the fighting finally stopped, but the division of the land was not resolved. Today, the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank live under military occupation. They cannot travel freely or make decisions about their own future. They also do and have a say in how the land is used or how the resources are shared. It's the Israeli government that makes these decisions. The Palestinians feel that this is not fair, and they want to end military occupation and create an independent state of their own. But the Israelis don't want to give up the land that they have already taken, so the fighting continues. It may not be a big war with tanks and planes, but it is still a war nonetheless. It is a war that will continue until the land is divided fairly and all parties can live in peace. Now check out this video on the Arab-Israeli conflict.